right, thank you for joining us this afternoon. Morgan, as a cartographer and GIS analyst, synthesizes data and designs spatially analyzed user experiences through the mediums of maps and apps. Morgan is outdoors whenever she has free time to fly fish, ride horses, and explore the North Carolina mountains with her fiance and two dogs.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for coming in and hanging out with me to go over something that I'm really passionate about. I will say, though, that I originally was not on this project. My coworker is living her best life in Jamaica on her honeymoon. So she passed off this great task for me to relay this really cool data and project that we got to do. I'm very proud to present this project. It combines three things I'm really passionate about: technology, weather, and serving a community. So tropical flooding is not something that the residents of Western North Carolina even dream about. But after Tropical Storm Fred catastrophically ripped through the East Coast in August of 2021, flooding became their worst nightmare. Stewart was called upon to quickly arrive on site and assess the structural damage of bridges, culverts, and private roads. Using both Collector and Survey123 simultaneously, the goal of this presentation is to offer insight into how we utilize these apps and efficiently assisted the community during these troubling times. Can we try again? So a little background on Tropical Storm Fred to kind of give you guys some context on how intense it was. It made landfall over North Carolina in August of 2021. At its strongest, it contained sustained winds up to 65 miles per hour and a central pressure of 994 millibars. Western North Carolina was expecting high amounts of rainfall from the storm. Fred produced catastrophic flash flooding in the southern Appalachian Mountains as a tropical depression. Unfortunately, 6 lives were lost with this tropical storm Fred, and surprisingly, all 6 of those lives were in Western North Carolina, specifically in Crusoe, North Carolina. We'll get there eventually. Maybe I'll just start drawing pictures. Okay, I get into some of the details of the damage that Fred did. Since Asheville is so far from the coast and over 2,000 feet above sea level, major flooding is normally never even on the radar, especially tropical flooding. This caused the damage produced by Fred to be catastrophic since our infrastructure was not adequately prepared for an event like this. As Tropical Depression Fred crossed Western North Carolina on August 17th, it dropped over a foot of rain in many areas, and these areas had already seen several inches of rain a few days earlier. It also produced a series of tornadoes, and with this heavy rain falling on saturated ground, the water had nowhere to go and ran off into rivers and streams, which quickly overflooded them. Give you a little background on who Stuart is and why we were so passionate on this project and how we started to tackle this project. Stuart is an interdisciplinary collaborative approach to projects. We had 2 verticals within Stuart that worked on this project. One was our geomatics vertical and the other was civil engineering. We developed a rich culture of servant leadership, and our core values are at the heart of why and who we work with and our clients, our partners, and our community. So like I said, geomatics was doing the field assessment of the structures, while civil engineering was doing the repair cost estimation. So 2 firms were hired to work simultaneously to ideally cut the amount of field assessment time in half. So we collaborated with a company called Draper Aiden. Like Stewart, it's a multidisciplinary engineering firm that provides an array of services, including surveying. We got boots on the ground in October of 2021 and given the deadline of December 31st of 2021. We were able to complete all of the field work within 5 weeks. To give you an overview of this project, damage information is a valuable resource used to make critical decisions related to recovery resources. Understanding the impact of a disaster is key for accurately deploying resources and helping the community. We located 181 total structures over 3 counties, Haywood, Transylvania, and Buncombe. Now to get into the fun stuff of talking about Survey123. So this project had to start very quickly, so we created a survey to rapidly start collecting data. This allowed us to manage multiple teams in different locations, and the standardized form kept everyone working in unison. So Survey123 is simple and intuitive form-centric data gathering solution. And it optimized our field operations and understanding the data we collected and communicating our work both internally and externally. It shared situational awareness across response teams between Stewart and Draper Aiden. And while we worked with Draper Aiden Associates, a Survey123 form was created to gather structured data. So Survey123 is definitely a smart survey. It enables rapid collection with predefined questions that use logic and provide easy to fill answers. We are also able to embed images. And specifically the survey that we created, we had our field teams collecting whether the feature type was a bridge, culvert, or private road. Depending on that selection, it would then prompt them to get photo requirements. So we made sure that we were accurately and consistently collecting data for each structure. We also had them collecting the damage severity ranking. That started at 0 with no issues, just tracking the structure, to 4, the structure was completely destroyed with no emergency access to homes. We also had them collect existing infrastructure. This could include utilities such as water, power, gas, telecommunications, and sewer. So in unison with Survey123, like I said, we also use the collector app. So pictured here, this is going to be Haywood County. This was a better choice for us than paper maps due to the reason that we were able to cut down on confusion and communication between both firms' field crews, since everyone can see who's been where. We were replacing unreliable paper-based data collection with trustworthy digital solution that fits the needs of the client and our field crews while they were in diverse environments. We were able to show field activity efforts are not duplicated between the teams, which improved efficiency of the operations. Both firms worked from the same map. This was our first experience where 2 firms edited the same map simultaneously, and it worked really, really well. Continuing talking about the collector app. Sometimes our field crews found damaged structures that were not originally provided, so they were easily and quickly and accurately able to drop a flag at these locations and fill out a survey for them. We also created a status tracking web app. So this was awesome to help keep up with data both internally and externally for our client. Pictured here is Haywood County. It keeps track of how many structures have been completed and how many were left to go. We also enabled a pie chart widget in our web app builder. And the pie chart symbology matches the web map symbology, which makes it very intuitive and easy to understand. So to give you kind of a scope of how financially and dramatically this impacted, especially North Carolina, NOAA National Center for Environmental Information estimated that a damage from Fred totaled about $1.3 billion in the United States. The worst damage occurred in western North Carolina due to catastrophic flooding, particularly in Haywood County, where 687 homes experienced some level of damage. Specifically in the town of Crusoe, 225 structures were destroyed along the East Fork of the Pigeon River, and damages totaled $300 million. Nearby town of Clyde had about $18 million in damage as well. So from all of this data, our civil engineering provided repair cost estimates based on photos, damage narrative, and the damage severity ranking that our field crews collected. These forms were then exported from Survey123 onto our desktop in a PDF format. This was really helpful because it streamlined our report generation, custom feature reports, and boosting productivity. And we had it formatted and standardized, and it created a very professional look. These final PDFs copies were sent to the North Carolina Office of State Budget and Management Disaster Recovery as our deliverable. Talking about the community impact, this impacted residents were very thankful that their cries for help had been heard and action was being taken. Oftentimes, residents were on site, and this provided very useful information into the background of the structure and if any personal repairs had been made. Our team left feeling like we were made major headway in helping kickstart the repair process for the community. Some steps that Western North Carolina has taken since this catastrophic event. They got a grant from North Carolina Department of Public Safety to install new rain gauges and river gauges, as well as 3 siren warning systems. So I will open it up now if anyone has any questions. Yes, ma'am. We use them in 2 separate instances. Yeah. She asked if we used Collector app and redirected the link from. Yeah. So she asked if we had embedded the link in Survey123 from Collector app. And now that I am saying that question out loud, I think we definitely did. Alex, yeah, it's all about a one-stop shop for everything. So yeah, that's also a very cool way that ArcGIS Online applications, you can integrate and work with all of them simultaneously, which makes our job easy. Any other questions? Yes, sir. Yes, so he asked if Survey123 in our form that we made, if we had a map where they could drop pins, or if Survey123 automatically picks up on your location. And so Survey123 is super cool, and where you can enable location enablers for it to pick up on where that field crew was. However, with a storm like this, a lot of times power lines were down, telecom units were down. So you are also able to download it and use it offline, get back to the office and upload everything. So with Survey123, you can enable location or you can drop a pin easily. Any other questions? Thank you.